Pittsburgh Trivia is a production of Warrior House Media.
Welcome to Pittsburgh Trivia with your host, Jim Cannon, where uncovering the crazy truth and trivia about Pittsburgh is just the beginning. And who knows, you may even learn a few things in the process. We know life can get pretty interesting around Pittsburgh. Speaking of interesting, did you know that?
Hi, and welcome to Pittsburgh Trivia, an interactive show that will test your knowledge of all things Pittsburgh and the surrounding region. I'm your host, Jim Cannon. Thanks for joining me. Before we get started, please note our website, pittsburghtriviapodcast.com, where you can go to find the latest episode. And you can also subscribe to be notified when those episodes are posted. The show is absolutely free. So here's how Pittsburgh Trivia works. There are 3 rounds. The first round consists of 5 random questions, most of them pretty easy. The second round is another 5 questions, though slightly more challenging material. And the final round is just one much tougher bonus question. That's a grand total of 11 questions in all. For each round, I will read the question and give a 5-second pause before going on to the next one. At the end of each round, I'll repeat each question before revealing the answers, along with some supplemental information. See, you can have fun and learn some things too. So those are the rules. If you're ready, let's get started. Round 1. Question 1. The Civic Arena featured prominently in this 1979 basketball film about the fictional Pittsburgh Pythons and starred actors Jonathan Winters and Stockard Channing, along with real NBA players like Julius Erving and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Question 2. What is a popular food item unique to our region found at almost any Pittsburgh wedding reception? Question 3. Andrew Carnegie built his first of these in 1889 in Braddock. Question 4. Ranked 3rd on the American Film Institute's list of greatest American male actors, and ultimately achieving the rank of Brigadier General in the Air Force, this man was born in 1908 in Indiana, PA, and did, indeed, have a wonderful life. Question 5. This 1941 film, simply titled Pittsburgh, and filmed partially on location there, starred Marlene Dietrich, Randolph Scott, and this legendary actor, better known for his westerns and war movies. And that is it for the round 1 questions. Kind of a mixed bag, huh? Should have been a good warm-up for you. So let's go check the answers to see how you did. Round 1 answers. The Civic Arena featured prominently in this 1979 basketball film about the fictional Pittsburgh Pythons and starred Jonathan Winters and Stockard Channing, along with real NBA players like Julius Erving and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The movie was The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. Now, this film, the premise of it is ridiculous. It's a fun one to watch if you're looking for something super silly. In the movie, the Pittsburgh Pythons are the city's pro basketball franchise, and they stink. They're terrible. For reasons I won't disclose, since some of you might go watch it, they changed the team name to the Pittsburgh Pisces, and their fortunes begin to change. Julius Erving, that legendary player we all know as Dr. J, is actually one of the stars of the film, and the Pittsburgh mayor at the time, Richard Caligiuri, had a cameo in the film. And question 2, what is a popular food item unique to our region, found at almost any Pittsburgh wedding reception? The cookie table. With a lot of things uniquely Pittsburgh, we can usually find a definitive origin or a direct line back to where something started. Not so with the cookie table tradition. The 2 main theories are A, it's a carryover from a lot of the European immigrants who made Pittsburgh their home back in the late 1800s or early 1900s. And that's due to a lot of ethnicities that each claimed a cookie table was commonplace in their home countries. Or theory B, the table sprang up during the Great Depression as a sweet but affordable replacement for the very expensive wedding cakes. But regardless of its origins, the cookie table is here to stay. Question 3. Andrew Carnegie built his first of these in 1889 in Braddock. And the answer is the first Carnegie Public Library. Now, just for clarification, a Carnegie Public Library is one that was built using money donated by Andrew Carnegie. A total of 2,509 Carnegie libraries were built between 1883 and 1929. 689 were in the US, 660 in the UK and Ireland, 125 in Canada, and a scattering of others in Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, and other places. The Carnegie Foundation helped other libraries financially, but those aren't considered Carnegie libraries. And another interesting fact, back in the day when you used a library, you had to actually approach the desk, ask for a book, and the librarian went and pulled it from a secure location. Well, Carnegie thought that was inefficient and implemented the open shelf system, where a borrower can peruse the shelves, find the book they want, and go check it out. The same system in place in libraries today. And question 4, ranked third on the American Film Institute's list of greatest American male actors, and ultimately achieving the rank of Brigadier General in the Air Force. This man was born in 1908 in Indiana, PA, and did indeed have a wonderful life. The answer is Jimmy Stewart. Stewart's life is, I think, more interesting than any of the characters he played. He graduated from Princeton in 1932, and he did so well there, he was awarded a scholarship for grad school to go study architecture. But while at school, he had become really involved in the school theater program, and he chose that path instead of architecture. During the Second World War, he was the first major movie star to sign up for service, and he enlisted in February of 1941, long before Pearl Harbor. He started off all the way at the bottom as a private. Later on, he got a commission to become an officer, trained on flying, and ended up in Europe, and he ended up flying B-24 bombers. After the war, he transferred to the Air Force Reserve, actually trained on how to fly B-52s, and ended his almost 30 years of service at the rank of Brigadier General, all while still making movies. And there's an interesting story behind his role as George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life, involving Stewart's PTSD from his World War II service. But that's way too much to cover here, so on to question 5. This 1941 film, simply titled Pittsburgh, and filmed partially on location there, starred Marlene Dietrich, Randolph Scott, and this legendary actor known for his westerns and war movies. Who was that actor? It was John Wayne. The Duke starred as Charles Pittsburgh Markham, a kind of sleazy coal miner who worms his way up to financial success only to lose it all. And it's a bit of a departure for Wayne, but he had a bunch of films on his resume where he didn't play a cowboy. So, also in the movie, Shemp Howard, one of the original Three Stooges, has a small dramatic, not comedic, dramatic role. All right, that's it for round 1. We're cooking now, but before we head into the second round, just a note, this show goes on because of you, the listener. So if you're enjoying Pittsburgh trivia and having some fun with it, please consider subscribing so you'll know when the episodes are posted. It's totally free and we don't do anything with your information other than send out notifications and updates. That's it. And if you are so inclined, or in Pittsburgh vernacular, inclined, you can also follow us on social media. We really appreciate any and all of your interaction. All right, so now it's on to round 2 with 5 more trivia questions about Pittsburgh. Here we go. Round 2, question 1. This boy band was the last group to perform at Three Rivers Stadium, saying bye 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 to the sports venue on July 16th, 2000, and also the first group to perform at the newly opened Heinz Field on August 18th, 2001. Question 2. This is a geography question, and you might have learned this in 7th grade. The Ohio River, which starts in Pittsburgh and ends in Cairo, Illinois, is the largest tributary of this much larger river. Question 3. Built in 1928 at a cost of $3 million, this movie palace had seating for 3,800 people and was operated by a division of Warner Brothers. In 1997, DeCesar Engler Productions bought the theater. After a $40 million renovation, it opened under a different name, the one you'll see on the marquee today at 237 7th Street in the Cultural District. What was the name of the original theater? And extra credit if you know the current name. Question 4. This newcomer to the Pittsburgh Bridge family, completed in 1988, and at a cost of $420 million, it carries Interstate 579 over the Allegheny River. Question 5. This is a fun one. Philip Pelusi was a sheet metal worker for 4 years before launching into this field. All right, those might have tested you a bit, but we'll see. So without hesitation, let's check the answers for round 2. Round 2 answers. Question 1. This boy band was the last group to perform at Three Rivers Stadium, saying bye, bye, bye to the sports venue July 16, 2000, and the first group to perform at the newly opened Heinz Field on August 18, 2001, and that is NSYNC. Not much other information to provide on this one, other than to say it was a huge show, about 50,000 people, and it was a big deal because Heinz Field was brand new. Question 2. The Ohio River, which starts in Pittsburgh and ends in Cairo, Illinois, is the largest tributary of this much larger river. And that is the mighty Mississippi. The Ohio is almost 1,000 miles long and flows through 6 states, and it's the third largest river by volume in the U.S. Question 3. Built in 1928 at a cost of $3 million, this movie palace had seating for 3,800 people and was operated by a division of Warner Brothers. In 1997, DeCesar Engler Productions bought the theater. After a $40 million renovation, it reopened under a different name, the one you'll see on the marquee today at 237 7th Street in the Cultural District. What was the name of the original theater? And extra credit if you know the current name. The original name was the Stanley Theater, and it is now the Benedum. I got to see some really great concerts when it was the Stanley. It was a fantastic place for musical acts. And Billboard magazine even had it designated as the #1 auditorium in the U.S. on several occasions. It's now the Benedum and hosts the CLO, the Pittsburgh Opera, and the Pittsburgh Ballet. Question 4. This newcomer to the Pittsburgh Bridge family, completed in 1988 at a cost of $420 million. That's about $1 billion in today's dollars. Carries Interstate 579 over the Allegheny River. That is the Veterans Bridge. Just a note, when it opened, the 107th National Guard ceremoniously fired howitzers from the deck of the bridge. In question 5, Philip Pelusi was a sheet metal worker for 4 years before launching into this field. This should have been a gimme for all of you. He was a hairstylist. From 1959 to 1963, he was a laborer. He broke off in 1963 as owner and president of Philip Pelusi Salons Incorporated. In 1966, he created his own haircutting system called Volumetrics, and his salons have been a dominant feature of the Pittsburgh beauty scene for decades, with 10 locations currently operating. And how did that round go for you? Was it too easy or too hard? Well, let's take a minute to let the brain catch up. This is a good time to let you know that if you're having fun with the show, and you want to let us know, please head to the website at pittsburghtriviapodcast.com, find the contact button, and drop us a line. We're always happy to get feedback. It can also help make the show even more enjoyable. Okay, here we go with the last item on our to-do list, the bonus question. Question. Mark Stutzman, a 1979 graduate of the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, once worked as a graphic artist for a local TV station. But his claim to fame is designing this commemorative item considered one of the most publicized of its kind as a tribute to Elvis Presley. It appeared in 1993 across the country and cost only 29 cents. What was it? All right, the clue should have been in the cost. The answer is a postage stamp. The stamp appeared in 1993. Some of you might remember it. It was a watercolor portrait of a young Elvis with the slick hair, wearing a gold jacket and holding one of the old-style microphones. The artist started with the image of Elvis from the film Love Me Tender and added some really vibrant colors to it. That was the chosen design because the other option was the jumpsuit wearing Elvis. So I'm glad they went with the younger one. That was a pretty tough question. Took a little bit of thought. But, we'll take it easy in the next episode. Maybe. That's it for this episode. Hope you did well, had fun, and learned something while playing along. Please keep checking back here or on the website for the latest episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
What? You're never gonna believe this. We'll leave that nugget for next time. So if you want more wacky Pittsburgh trivia, be sure to subscribe and we'll invite you back to our next episode. But if you just can't wait, visit our website at pittsburghtriviapodcast.com, where we think Pittsburgh trivia isn't trivial.